Okay, welcome back. So in this video we're going to be talking about setting up the units and coordinates in ArcGIS. Now in the previous video we started our lecture of ArcGIS and we have already done the first and second one in which we introduced ArcGIS and we understood the user interface of ArcGIS. Now in this lecture, which is the C of part 1, it is going to be setting units and coordinates. So let's start our lecture and let's learn this. Now for the units and coordinates, you can access the units and you can change the units, or you can set up the units and coordinates from, like, if you are working with shape files, you can do the changes from there. If you're working with layers, you can do the changes from there. If you're working with the map, you can set up the coordinates and units there. Sometimes you also require to use the identify tool, so you can change the units from there. Sometimes you want to go to a certain point on a map, you can go and you can change the units from there. Or maybe if you are using open, if you want to find the area of certain location or some other information of certain areas in your map, so you can go and open attribute table, and from there you can also change the units. But these are different. This is going to be a different one than all of the others here. So the main ones are shapefiles, layer, map, identify tool, and go to xFile, and maybe other options as well, but we're going to explore these ones. So let's open the ArcGIS. Okay, so here we are with the ArcGIS. Now for ArcGIS here, let's start with the first option that was about shapefiles. So for shapefiles, you can see the catalog here. If you have created your folder and you have created your database folder, so you can add the shapefiles from here. Now for shapefiles, what you can do is you can just right click and then new on the folder that you've created, and then you can click on the shapefile. From there you can add the shapefile. Now you can see that we don't have anything here, it's blank, so it's just an example that I'm trying to explain to you. But when we are actually working on a project, then the shapefile would make a sense, and then you would know that why are we adding the shapefile. But here it's just for explanation purposes, so that's why I'm just explaining this. So for shapefile, you create a new shapefile. It can be point, polygon, or anything, and from here you can click on edit and you can set up your units. Now you can go to the geographic coordinate system or projected coordinate system depending upon your data. If you're working on raster, so you would go to geographic coordinate system. If you're working with the vector data, so you would go to the projected coordinate system. Once you click on the once you select the geographic coordinate system, then you can go to your specified region like world, and then the world you can go to WGS 1984. You can also make it favorite, so it would appear on the top and you can access it directly from there, right? The second one is projected coordinate system. You can also visit that from there, and then you can select your UTM zone, and then you can select your WGS 1984, and then you can select your northern or southern hemisphere, and then you can go to your specific region. Now for this one, if you find it difficult that which region are you actually at, you can actually go to Google or Google Earth Pro, and then go to your location and select that and see that which region that is. If you really want to have some help with that, let me explain that. So let's say if I open the Google Earth Pro here, it's opening here. Let's wait for it. Here we go. So the Google Earth Pro is loaded. Now let's say if we take an example here, let's go to a location. Let's say if I type something random, Burj Al Arab. Okay, sorry, the spelling was wrong, but it picked it. Now here we go, we have got to that location. Now here, if you see in the Google Earth Pro, you have the units being displayed at this part. If you see at the bottom right corner almost, right? So you can see my mouse cursor, I'm trying to move it. Here we have the unit. So you can see the first is 40R and then 317.063.92. So the 40R is the region, right? 40R, and then 3170 this meter, and then east 27 this meter north. So and then elevation. So the main thing is 40R and then the other unit here. So this is what you can take help from for your region. So this is how you can specify the region. So let's get back there now. Right click, new, and then shapefile, and then point, and then edit, and then you go to the WGS, let's say projected coordinate system, and then you go to the UTM. In the UTM WGS 1984, and then you can search the northern hemisphere, and then here you can go and you can search for 40N because it displayed there that it was 40 R, right? So here it's 40R, but actually this is 40 north. You can, if you want to verify this, you can go to Google and you can search the Dubai UTM zone. You can see the Dubai or United Arab Emirates UTM zone is 40N. So it's actually N that is going to be displayed there, but you can see the 40 there, and the N is going to be added. The R is something else, right? Okay. So let's get back to the ArcGIS. So 40N for the way, and we can then OK, and we can add that point there. But for now we're not adding that point, right? So I would just cross it. Okay, so this is one of the place from where you can adjust the units. The second is the layers. If you're working with the layers and you have displayed the layers there, you can change the global layer coordinates from, or units from properties, and then you can adjust the units from there. You can change them, right? Okay, the next place that we can do it is from identify tool. Now for identify tool, you can click on identify tool and you can click anywhere on the map and it will display you the location in the form of units there. Now let's try to open a map. Let's say if I go to the plus and add a base map, and for this base map, let's say I go with the anything, let's say this one. So we can zoom in here and we can go, let's say somewhere near to Asia and Africa. So we can go to Dubai here, and now here we are going to be identifying. Now let's say I want to identify the location of Burj Al Arab. So I would take the, let's say I take the coordinates from here. You can see that this place mark is added here, so it means it's the coordinate of Burj Al Arab, 40N and this and this. So let's try to pick these coordinates from here and add them there. So copy, and let's go to the ArcGIS, and then here I can, let's say, okay, I'm using the identify tool. So in Dubai, you can see if I click on identify tool anywhere, it would show me the location of that point there. I can change the unit here and I can display them in any unit that I want. So let's say you can see 40R, this UTM, right? So this is the unit. Now for identify tool, let's try to identify, or let's try to see where the Burj Al Arab is. So for there, I would have to add a coordinate of Burj Al Arab from here and add it here. So for adding a coordinate, what I can do is, instead of identify, I can use go to XY tool. So let's click on go to XY tool, select the unit system to UTM, and now let's add the unit here. So I would add 40R and then this and then this. So 40R. So you can see it here, it's displayed here at the bottom as well, but it's not in that one. We'll try to adjust this one, no worries. Okay, let's try to flash it. So okay, it's not flashing. You can see that it's not working. It means there is some error in this. So let me try to finish the space of 40 and R here. Let's flash it now. It's still not working. Let me copy it and let me close it. I'll go back to the identify tool and I will just see the format of the coordinate that they actually like in ArcGIS. So let me click here, and you can see the format of this point is, okay, it's loading. Yeah, here. So it's 40R with no space, and then space this one, and then UTM. Okay, we didn't add the UTM, so we'll try to add that as well. Here we go, and select that to UTM. I'll paste it. I'll add UTM, and let's flash it now. Okay, it's still not working. I'll try to remove the decimal point from here. Maybe that's the reason as well. Sometime it is the reason. Let's now flash it. Okay, here we go. So it's not flashing. You can see it's exactly in the Dubai, and if you zoom it in, it would be actually going to the Burj Al Arab. If you want to flash it, it will show you that location. I would add the point. You can see add point. I would add it. If I add it, it would just go to that location, so we don't have to flash it again and again. Let's go, let's zoom in, and I think it would go to the location that where we want to go to. Let's see. Okay. So you can see the location of this point here, 40R, this UTM, right? Okay, so that's done. Let's close this one now. The next thing is this one. You can see this coordinate here. If you want to change the format of this coordinate at the bottom right corner of your screen, if you can see my mouse cursor, so let's change this one. So you can go to the customize, and in the customize you can go to arc map options, and then in the arc map option here you can see use these units instead of the data frame display option. Just check that and then go to and select your unit. So let's say I select UTM, apply, and OK. You can see now it's changed to 40R this. So I can now see that location directly by placing my mouse there, 40R and that UTM, right? You can change it to any other format as well. This is the next one. Now another option that we had was open attribute table. Now let me close this first of all. So now here I have loaded some random image raster here, and I just want to show you the open attribute table. So if you're working on your project, you can go to the shape file, right click and open attribute table, and then here from here you can go to this one here which says add field, and here you can add your, let's say, field area. If you click right click and go to calculate geometry, and then you select the use coordinate system, so you can see you can select the coordinate system, geographic or this one, and then you can select the unit, so you can change the units of that area and then display it there. So it would display you the area of that specific location, point or line or whatever that you are working on, right? So this is another point, but we will use these tools while we're working on a project but this is just for explanation. So I hope you understood this one. So these were some different options for working on units and coordinates in ArcGIS. I hope you understood the main concept. So in the next video we'll continue with the ArcGIS lectures. Thank you.